Okay, today we're talking with Leatherwolf drummer Dean Roberts. How are you doing today, Dean?
I'm doing fine.
And of course, the reason we're talking to you because the band's been back on tour. You launched your tour in April in support of your new album Unchained, which I understand is a live album. Has the album actually been released yet?
No, it isn't. We're in the middle of shopping it right now.
And I understand that it was produced by Roy Z, who is a guitar player, of course, that's played with Bruce Dickinson, Rob Halford. How did you guys hook up with him?
Well, Roy's been, we've been friends like for forever. He used to come to parties like when we used to play back in the early 80s as a fan, and he used to come watch us, and so he just kind of has always liked Leatherwolf. And then we hooked up with him, like in the late 90s when he started talking. We met with him and we started, he asked us if we wanted to play a couple shows with Rob Halford. Then we became friends. And then we did the World of Asylum record. He was going to work on it, but he had to go do Judas Priest record.
I understand that.
And ever since that, we've just always been friends. So we did this live recording and then asked him to mix it, and he mixed it. And it just turned out to be pretty smoking. And
let me ask you, do you think it's different having a guy like Roy produce your album, as an actual musician himself, as opposed to a guy that just sits behind a board?
Well, Roy's kind of a fan, and he kind of just has an image of it in his head what this stuff should be like, and it kind of lines up with what we think, and so he, how do I say this? He had a different image, like for how the Island records were recorded. And since we were redoing these, he just put his little technique in it, and it just sounds. The bass and the guitars and the drums just sound way larger, So we're just totally thrilled to death to have him, be interested in working with us.
And let me ask you, the live album.
To answer your question, yeah. I think a song like someone like Roy Z is really helpful when he's recording records in the songwriting phase of it. He's a guitar player, so he knows. He's a really good writer, so he can always contribute from that point of view.
Okay, let me ask you, the live album. I was curious. Was it one specific show that you guys recorded, or was it taken from a bunch of different shows?
It was taken from a couple different shows, and we did a couple studio takes too, just aside from that, just as bonus tracks.
Okay, and so I think a lot of people would be surprised to realize Leatherwolf's actually been around since the early 80s, I think 1981 to be specific. Could you tell us how you guys all first met and got the band together?
Well, me and Carrie were playing in a band with another bass player, and we played this party in Fountain Valley at this warehouse, and we ran into Jeff and a bass player called Jerome, and they were in a band called Rage, and so we just kind of palled up with him, which was just Jeff Gayer and Jerome Severin, and me and Carrie, and we just started playing together. And this was probably 1979, 1980, and so we started playing over at Carrie's girlfriend's house, and then Mikey was going to school with Jeff at Fountain Valley High School, and just invited him over to start playing. So that's where the triple X track thing came from, just the three guitar players playing, because we could never find a singer. We went through probably 10 different dudes, and then Mikey just said, "Hey, I'll just do it," or I forget if he offered or we just said, "Hey, dude, we need a singer, so would you try to sing?"
So, let me ask you, talking about...
We just started playing tons of parties and started playing in the local clubs, and then migrated into Hollywood, and got a record deal, and, made a couple Island records.
And let me ask you the thing about the three guitar players. Like you said, Iron Maiden is another band that they have three guitar players now, but did you guys, was there much thought that went into that, or did you just think having the three guitar players really gave you guys a heavy sound?
It was more by luck, but if you listen to a lot like the Scorpions and bands like that, there's a lot of triples going on, with rhythms and duals going down, so we could actually pull those off live. And I don't think that Iron Maiden started doing doing it till later on.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, they didn't do it in the detail that, Jeff and Kerry and Mike did it at,
Yeah, okay, and
it was a fluke thing. I think it was more of a, we were just got bored practicing and, doing triples and writing that way. It was just a whole different, avenue.
And I think it gives Leatherwolf, kind of original, something original sound. And I got to ask, how did you guys come to name the band Leatherwolf?
Actually, we borrowed it from one of our friends.
Okay.
And we just kept it. We had like 4 or 5 different names back in the early '80s, and they were just making fun of one of our names, so we just kind of borrowed their name because it was Carrie's girlfriend's brother was in a band, and they were younger kids, so we just kind of borrowed it from them and kept it.
And like you were saying, Leatherwolf got started in the Orange County scene, which there's quite a huge scene there these days. But what was it like back in the early '80s when you guys were just starting? Because a lot of other bands got their start in Hollywood and the Sunset Strip.
Well, it was just fun. We would go. We had this guy that had a band. His name was Steve Perkins, and we would just play like 4 nights a week, learning all the Judas, Iron Maiden, all that Scorpion stuff, and go play parties. And we would just load up on Friday, go to a party, and then the cops would bust it. And we'd go to another party, set up, play, and then we did the same thing on Saturday, and then go back to the studio, set up, and practice. And it was fun. We weren't really concerned with playing clubs or writing originals yet, or playing in Hollywood. We were just interested in playing parties. No pressure, tons of fun.
And I understand once things started happening for you guys, even early on in your career, that you'd done some shows with Slayer and Metallica back in the day. What were those shows like for you?
Well, this was the very beginning. No one was signed. No one was doing much original stuff. So it was just a show like at the Woodstock.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really think about that these guys were going to go big.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing all these years later, but you guys are still here doing it, and they've gone on to bigger and better things as well. And I was kind of curious, did you stay in touch with any of the Slayer guys? Because their guitar player Jeff Hanneman, he recently passed away like in May. Did you hear anything about that?
Well, we heard about it, but we were never like friends. We would just meet at a show, and we would play and we would talk, but we never were like super close friends.
Yeah, I got you.
Like,
and
talk. And
yeah.
They were cool guys, but
yeah.
we didn't do nothing with those guys except for when we played with them every once in a while.
Oh, okay, I hear you now. Of course, Dean, you're the drummer, so I was like,
when we played with Metallica, it was with Dave Mustaine. He was in the band.
Oh wow, that's going back. Wow.
They were called something different. They had a different name.
Wow, that's going back a ways. That's great though. Even to look back on it now, that must kind of blow your mind. That a band like that went on to success they did, and even Dave with Megadeth. And you guys, like I said, are still here doing it. So, I think Leatherwolf. That's one thing I respect about you guys. You guys are really a working class band, and you're still doing it. So, what's kept you going all these years? It's just playing, getting out and playing and writing. It's just fun. And of course, I like.
Not so. It kind of makes your day job a little easier.
Yeah. So I of course like to ask you, Dean. Of course, you're the drummer. So I was curious. How old were you when you first started playing? And do you even remember what it was about the drums that made you want to pick that instrument?
Well, I started playing probably when I was it was in high school, like when I was probably 16. And I just started playing in the marching band and the orchestra, the jazz ensemble. But it was always like, I would sit at my house and just play, fake drums to like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple. And I was just totally hooked. That's what got me into those types of things. And then, like in '79, I learned about Judas Priest, from the Unleashed in the East records, and I was just totally, oh, this is killer. I just got to do this stuff. I have to get a drum set and, get in the band, But I was playing water polo in high school, and then I started
And what do you remember from going back and remember that first drum kit you got? That must have been that must have really blown your mind. Been amazing. Finally, have your own drum kit to play on.
Oh yeah, it was killer because I grew up kind of on the poor side of things, and so it was really really hard to get a drum set, And my stepdad pitched in and helped me buy one. It was a Yamaha from West Coast Drums in Santa Ana. It's probably like 79 or 80. I got them. So I was thrilled to death. It was killer.
And of course, like I said, Leatherwolf's always been this, working class band. And I was curious. I know you guys were recently supposed to be on this thing called the Metal Masters Tour with Vicious Rumors, and I understand that kind of fell through. Can you talk at all about that and what your guys' plans are now as far as touring behind the new record?
Well, we were dealing with Matt from Heart Attack, and we just had some rules from the very beginning that we wanted to make sure that everyone would be able to make enough money to cover the cost.
Uh-huh.
And Matt, he tried hard. I'm sure he did to try to get as much as he could. But at the end of the day, when we saw the routing and we saw the money, and we realized that it's going to cost us too much to do it, we just had to back out.
And so, are you guys looking to get on another tour? Or you think you'll go out on a headlining tour?
We just want to go play. As long as it can fund itself, and we can go out there and play in front of people, with other killer bands, we're in. We can't. You can't. It has to pay for itself.
Yeah, I hear you. And like I said, you guys you launched your tour, I understand, in April, and there's been a lot of you've been getting a lot of press as far as internet wise, but again, Leatherwolf's always been one of those bands you guys work really hard, and yet the name is probably a lot of metal fans, for example, have heard the name Leatherwolf, but you guys don't seem to get a lot of mainstream press, and a lot of people, you ask them, have you heard of Leatherwolf? Well, I've heard the name, but I don't know, but I can really name a song. For being such a hard-working band, why do you think you guys have stayed under the radar so much?
Well, we were working during the '80s, and then we broke up for a little bit, and Carrie and Jeff and Mikey started a new gig, and that ran its course, and then we all got back together and started playing again, and it was more kind of random than committed, and it's just when you disappear like for 24 years, and during that time you only play a couple shows, it's just people forget about you.
Yeah.
So
but
I think it has more to do with that. When you stay on the map and you play shows, you still, you're still connecting with the people that like your music.
Yeah, but at the same time,
we just took way too much time off, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, even looking at your Facebook page, and I see some of the stuff people are posting. Even at some of your recent shows, it must be amazing for you that you must have as many new fans as you do old fans coming out checking out your shows. Is that not correct?
Yeah, it's cool. To see the old guys, older people, like people that are like 40 that were fans that have all the records and CDs, and they show up to the shows, and it's way killer. And when we play bigger shows in front of a whole bunch of new faces that have never even they've heard Level, they've never seen us, and they're just totally blown away by it. It's a good feeling, like we would do these. We meet people before we play, and I've never seen you, and I'm looking forward to doing this. And then they see us play, and they're totally blown away. It's just a nice feeling that people still like the band.
And talk new people. Talk a little bit about the internet. How important of a tool has that been? Because even a couple of years ago, the internet wasn't what it is today. Seems like that guy's been that's been a tool that's been real helpful for you guys.
It's just tricky. We just put up a Facebook page and a website. We just put up a website again, like about at the beginning of the year. And, just getting fans and people connecting to them and letting them know stuff, and people getting downloads and stuff. It's, it's a whole different way to promote a band.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it got to trip you out, kind of, that you guys are a band from Orange County, and yet because you got a website or whatever, a Facebook page, even some guy in Japan or even in Russia, the other side of the world, is checking you out. You must get emails, I imagine, from all around the world.
Oh, we get it from everywhere. Everyone wants us to go to Japan, to Germany, all over the place.
Is there a place in the world that you guys have not toured yet that you would love to one day be able to go and play?
We never went to Japan. We never went to Australia.
Oh, really? Wow, that's
There's
amazing.
There's a few places we've never been to.
That's pretty amazing. I'm shocked.
We'd love to go everywhere, but it's just costs money.
And do you find that you guys are more popular in other parts of the world? Because I understand, like, especially in Europe, where we have the big metal festivals, that there's a lot more of appreciation for that, for this kind of music than there is here in the States.
Yeah, metal's a little bit bigger over there, but there's some pockets in the United States that are really killer too.
Yeah, I think it just all depends
Europe is cool.
Yeah, I think it just depends. And so, you said you guys are currently trying to get a deal as far as to put out your live album. I think one thing that's, to me, a lot of the record industry screwed it for themselves. I mean, because these days a lot of bands are putting out their own music, and that way you have control over everything. Have you guys given any thought to that?
Hey, to really have a successful record, you need a big machine that can promote it worldwide. So you can get to the fans and they know it's there, and they can hear it and purchase it. So that in turn, when you come to town, people know who you are and they want to see the show. When you do it by yourself, it's just a lower level of doing it. I mean, that's how we had pretty much New World Asylum. We did a deal with Japan, and we did a deal with Massacre in Europe. No one picked it up in the U.S.
Oh, really? Okay.
That record was pretty killer, for heavy metal.
And so, are all the past albums, are they still available, or any of them out of print?
Oh, we still got them.
And so, anybody interested in
the only one that disappeared is that older live record.
Okay, and of course, in doing research for this interview, I understand, Dean, that you'd been in the band, of course, from for the first time from 1981 to 1990, and then you left. So I was curious, why did you decide to leave the band for a while before you returned in 1999?
Well, I'm not the guy to ask. You'd have to ask Mike, Carey, and Jeff.
Okay.
Because I think that they just wanted to go a different direction. Nothing was really moving in the Leatherwolf camp, and we had some personal issues, and I think that they just wanted to try something different. And so they changed the drummer, and they changed Paul Kerman, the bass player, and then they just changed the whole direction of music and songwriting.
Okay, and so then, of course,
it was kind of like that.
So what did you do for those years when you were out of a band?
Well, I just started thinking about what I want to do, and I realized that I have to get a job. So what I did is I was always a roofer, so I got a roofing license and started a company.
And what was that like? I mean, that must be quite an experience from playing in a band all these years to all of a sudden having to get a so-called regular day job. Did it take you a while to get used to that? Not playing these gigs and.
No. I mean, the way I looked at it is, music was something I did for fun, and I did because I had the opportunity to do it. I still had to have a real job to pay bills.
Well, yeah,
music is a great thing. I would love to have been successful at it to pay for my life, but it just didn't work out that way. So I was okay with working. I like to work.
I got to respect that attitude because a lot of guys they don't have that attitude, and they go from being a musician, touring musician all these years, and they have trouble going to get a day job. So I have respect for anybody that can do that now. So You want to talk a little bit about, I guess the year was 1999 when you got back together with the band. How did that come about? Did they give you a call? Did you call them?
No, Terry called me and asked if we wanted to. Jennifer Perry, who was working for Ozzy,
Okay.
was having a birthday. And so one of her friends called Terry and asked if we wanted to play. And Terry decided, I guess, to do the Leatherwolf thing and the Hail Mary thing.
Wow.
So we just went and played a little show. And from there, we decided maybe we should start thinking about writing again. And Mikey and Terry and me and Paul and Jeff said, okay. But, as we started writing, Terry and Mike just had to work and had other things to do. So me and Jeff just stuck with writing that record, the World Asylum record. And then the time came to, record it, and those guys were busy, so me and Jeff did it. And we got a bass player, Pete, who came in to help play the bass, and got Wade Black to do the vocals.
Okay.
And so we did that, and then, it didn't really pan out touring-wise with Wade. So we just had Mikey come back, record the vocals, and then we released it, and then started playing shows.
And so, what was that like getting, back together, just, to start, I guess, with the record? I mean, when you got that call initially and there was talk of getting Leatherwolf back together, did you have any hard feelings towards the guys because they'd asked you to leave, or were you not sure about if you wanted to return or not?
No, it wasn't. The way I look at things is, there's things that happen that are out of your control, and this was just one of those things for me. So I just learned what I needed to learn, about myself and what led up to that whole thing happening, what I could be responsible for. And, I totally, I had some hurt feelings when it first happened, but as time went by, I kind of realized, hey, this is just what those guys thought they needed to do. And, that's fine with me. And I, got things straightened up in my life and got my business going. So everything was okay. It all worked out for me.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
It's kind of cool. Hey, get a call from my friends, and let's see what we can do.
And then I understand.
I was good with it.
That's great. And I understand that you guys also worked with singer Jeff Martin, of course, who was a singer for Racer X. How did you guys get involved with him? And I'm curious, why didn't it work out with him? Did he just go on to other things?
Well, Jeff Martin's a freaking killer singer, man. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when we didn't get a deal off of it, he's a Racer X guy, and he has other gigs that he was doing. He just really couldn't commit to it.
Okay.
It was just nice sitting with him and talking with him, and recording a couple songs with him. It was cool, but he had other plans.
And I was curious, the album you're talking about that you did, you recorded with the two different singers. What was that like? Going back and re-recording that. I mean, it obviously there are two different singers, so there's some difference in the sound. But was it that major of a difference?
Well, I just can't really be. I've always been a Mike Oliveri fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to sit down the inside and give you an answer to that one because I'm already kind of bipartisan to Mikey.
And I guess kind of the cool thing, about doing it that way is, the other one, I guess, kind of almost like a collector's item, right? Or was that ever officially released?
Which one, the New World Asylum one or the World Asylum one?
Well, you're talking about an album you guys it recorded with two different singers. You did it with one guy and then he left, and then you re-recorded it.
With Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the World Asylum one with Wade Black was released. The New World Asylum one wasn't.
Oh, okay.
So we just been selling that from our website, and when we tour, we sell that one.
And so, what have the recent shows been like, Dean? Because like I said, you haven't had a new studio out for a while, and you don't even have this live album yet. But yet, so that's got to kind of speak about the power of the name Leatherwolf. That you guys are still out there. You don't really have any new product, but yet people are still coming to the shows.
I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I mean, it's a good. I mean,
some shows are not so good.
I guess what I'm saying is the crowd's been good, because I mean there are certain bands that like you may laugh at this, but there's certain bands like Iron Maiden, Kiss. They can just tour without putting a record out, and I think you guys, while you may laugh and think, well, we're not on the same level as Iron Maiden or Kiss, I think that just speaks volumes that, because when you look at Leatherwolf, it's been around since like 1981 in one form or another, and you guys are still doing it. I think that speaks volumes that, your fans are still coming out, old fans and new fans, to check you out, and you don't even have new product out currently on the market. I just think that's speaks volumes right there.
Well, I mean, when you look at the whole time frame for Leatherwolf, we really didn't tour that much. We toured the United States like once, or maybe, in '87 and '89, and we haven't been around since then. We did Europe one time, so we really haven't, from the live point of view, we really haven't played that much live. We just do one-offs every once in a while in Orange County. Every once in a while we'll go to Europe and play a festival, but nothing serious, So like for the fans that like Leatherwolf, it's really hard for them to ever see us. Just like this tour, some of the shows were good, some of them weren't so good. But, we had people, flying in. We played in Chicago, people were flying in from Minneapolis. People were driving 6 hours just to come see us because they never got to see us before. And then, that's it's a bummer for them that we just can't get out more, and play, because we would love to.
And so, do you guys plan to? You have plans to maybe tour more in the future? I mean, are you trying to hook up with maybe a booking agent that can get you better shows, or is it just a kind of wait and see thing right now?
Oh, we're always trying to. We've been trying to get out for the last 7 years. It's just hard.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because it's amazing. A lot of the recent stuff I've been reading about you guys on the internet. It's just all this stuff about this is and you guys, like I said, have been back for a couple of years now. But I'm reading this Leatherwolf's comeback tour, and big things are expected. It must be great, at least, to read so much positive press about your band.
Oh, I'm just glad that they give us the time of day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that's
cool. We're just really, really trying to get out there, with a package of bands, so we can, it can be like an event,
And I think that's the cool. Even talking to you, Dean, you seem like you're a very appreciative guy. Like you were talking a little bit about when I was out of the band for a couple of years, I had my opportunity, I had my day in the sun. I had to go get a day job, and even like just talking to you now, you're like, I can tell you're very appreciative of any success that comes the band's way, and I think that's cool. Even though you guys have been in it for 1981, you don't seem bitter, you don't seem jaded or anything. So I really got to tip my hat to you and your bandmates for that.
Well, you got to think about it, dude. Just playing music and being able to play, that's just cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just having the opportunity to go out and do that, or like go out and play open for Rob Halford, or go out and play and open for Queensryche, and play in front of big crowds. We play with Whitesnake, playing in front of 20,000 people. It's just cool just to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then sit there and watch all the people singing the songs that we wrote. It's just freaking killer. You would never expect something like that until it actually happens. You go to a club and all these people that you didn't even know were fans, they know all the words to your songs. It's just cool.
Yeah, you're living the dream, as they say, and that's why it's a shame that the tour with Vicious Rumors kind of fell through, because they're another great band that's kind of remained under the radar all these years, and I actually had the chance to interview Jeff Thorpe, the guitar player, and he's the guy that founded the band, and he's another just a great down to earth guy that appreciates any success that comes his way. So I think maybe one day you guys can get on some kind of tour, because I think that just would have been a super tour.
Yeah, we were totally looking forward to it. You don't get the opportunities that much. It's just that we just we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that tour will be great with Seven Witches and Vicious Rumors. I'm sure they'll find another act that can
So, of course, like right now, you said you're working on shopping a deal for the live album. Is there any chance you guys have you recorded any of the recent shows, like maybe for a live DVD or anything down the line?
Not as of yet, you know. We're definitely thinking about that. We're definitely thinking about doing something DVD-wise this year, just depending on, you know, what happens in the live front, you know, with shows and stuff.
I mean, I think it'd even be cool to put like out a documentary about you guys, you know, just the whole history of the band from '81 on. Because again, I think a lot of people, you know, they've heard the name Leatherwolf, but they might even be just equally surprised that you guys have been around that long.
Yeah, we've been around for a while. We just want to play. Just want to play some rock and roll, have some fun.
And aside from, you know, trying to get the live album out, are you guys at the point where you've talked about writing any new music?
We're talking about it right now, but nothing's. You know, we started doing it. We got like about 14 ideas that we started recording with, but you know, we're all kind of busy, just, you know, with our jobs and with our lives. We hope before the end of the year, you know, to sit down and do it. But it's all going to have a lot to do with how this live record thing works and how touring goes and all that stuff.
Well, Dean, I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for taking time to do this. I really appreciate it. I think it's going to go up sometime in July. I'll let you guys know the minute I get a concrete date on that. And thanks again, and please keep my contact info. Anytime you want to do this, we can do it.
Right on, Jason, and thank you for the opportunity to interview with you guys.
Okay, thanks again. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.